Welcome. I'm going to teach you how many people, and me included, beat many demon levels. For example, it's not really easy to get 97 demons. You gotta have a strategy to beat every single demon, or just hard levels. And I'm just going to tell you how to do that. First, one thing that most people do is they get, let's say they get an easy level like the Nightmare. They practice the level once in practice, and right after that, all they do is play the level over and over. Like, for a level like the Nightmare, you really don't need much practice attempts. And usually, I wouldn't recommend doing this if you're just starting the game, or if this is a harder level. Like, you don't really want to try this on Bloodbath or Sonic Wave. You just don't really want to try that. Now, if it's a level like the Nightmare and you've like let's say beaten like a couple demons, you know how to play this game, you're pretty good at it. Then I would recommend just doing this instead because it doesn't use that much practice attempts. But yeah, that's one way you can beat demons. Now, of course, there's other ways to beat levels. Like, for example, you do what you did last time, but instead, let's say if you're struggling on, let's say, I don't know, 14% of laser, and you practice it once and yet you still don't understand that part. Well, what you do is you go to 14%, which shouldn't take that long. Sorry if I'm making wait 5 seconds. Terrible, isn't it? And then you practice that part until you can beat it, right? And then, of course, you really wouldn't do this with Laser Room, considering it's an easy demon, but let's say if it's a little bit harder demon, you would do that. But there's still better strategy to beat demons. For example, another way I beat demons is to play the level in practice over and over until I get a low amount of attempts on that level. Like, I actually did that on mobile to finish Problematic. Like, God, I spent a lot of attempts on Problematic. I spent like, I think like 2,000. Yeah, I spent a crap ton. And what you do is you basically beat the level over and over, and when you get a low amount of practice attempts, like let's say, I don't know, under 20 or like under 10, that's when you know you can beat the level, guaranteed. But you have to do this several times. Like, it's not like one practice attempt unless it's like a really easy demon. You have to spend like a bunch of practice attempts. If you do your practice runs correctly, it shouldn't take too much attempts for you, but it's still going to take a decent amount. But out of all the strategies I use, this doesn't consume that much attempts. Ah, but that's not it. I also have other types of strategies that I use even more often. Like, for example, I also use a common strategy that I use all the time. In fact, I pretty much use it for every demon I do. Well, what you do is you get a copyable of the demon you want to beat. Let's say it's Problematic. But there's a little issue on that. You need to get the copyable, and usually there's a password. And so there's about 3 ways you can get the password or get the copy of a level. You can scroll through the commons, and you can find the pass like this. You can go on that person's channel, YouTube channel. Or what you can also do is you can look up Problematic copy, because a lot of people make copies of demons. And then they'll give you the copy. Yeah, like that. Once you get a copy of the level, you scroll to the part you struggle with. Let's say it's the start of the wave. You put a start position. You edit what you need, like, for example, not all the time. You're gonna start with triple speed or normal speed. Sometimes you gotta change that, and not all the time you're gonna start with a ship or a ball when you need it. Unlike now. And then you practice the parts that you're struggling on until you are confident enough to beat the level. And this is what I commonly do for like basically every single demon. However, you may think, there really isn't any other way to beat demons, right? It's pretty simple, just spam it over and over. There is one more strategy that I use, although I almost never use it, and that is This strategy... Yeah, you can't really explain something by saying this. Well, basically this is how you do this strategy. Basically, you go to a part that as far as you possibly can into the level using a start position. Of course, you got to get the copyables to do that first. And what you do is you beat that level from that start position. Yeah, like this. Like, I don't know, this is like a pretty difficult part of Poltergeist. I would say it's like 10 out of 10, the hardest part of Poltergeist. And once you do that, you move the start position back a little bit more. Like, for example, I'm gonna move it back to this part. Yeah, this part. And then you beat the level from here. And you just keep moving the start position back and back and back until you get good for the level. Also, I'm sorry if my gameplay sucks right now because I haven't been playing for a really long time because I've been kind of taking a break. But anyways, I wouldn't really recommend using this strategy considering it's more like for harder demons like Bloodbath. And it's meant for levels like Bloodbath because it's basically a level you have to be perfect, and this strategy is meant for people who want to be perfect at a level. Now, I really don't prefer to be perfect because you don't need to be perfect to beat a Geometry Dash level. Well, most Geometry Dash levels. And so I don't want to spend all that unnecessary time just to perfect myself on one level, when it's okay to make a little bit of a mistake. Anyways, that's basically the end of this tutorial, or whatever what you would call this. I hope I taught you something because I really love helping people. And I'm really sorry I haven't been uploading lately. It's just tough with school now and after school stuff. I just want a break sometimes.